Hi, Janie.
Hey Zig, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Good. How is our yoga guru doing?
I think she's finishing up a class. So
Oh, okay. All
yeah,
right.
I'll tell you what. I'll run up there and check real quick and see. But yeah,
Oh,
she had a 4 o'clock class. She said she was going to be going straight from that to here. So
okay. All right.
are you at You're at the
Office.
Y? Oh,
Yeah, I'm at our office right now. Yeah.
it's painted the same as that one room over at the YMCA, the
Oh,
community
these.
room.
Oh, can you see these? We have
Yeah.
two of these in our office
Oh,
that from the bicentennial.
okay.
So one is a grocery store and then one is a harness shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
They,
yeah,
they
they
ha-
have those at the senior center too.
right. Okay. Okay. Here, let me check on that for you.
Okay. Hey, Steph. Are you there, Toots?
There I am. Here I am.
Yeah. So anyways, my carbonite is still loading, or
You serious?
I'm serious. And I was at 91 and then now I'm at 88.
Ugh.
Backwards. So anyways, I was afraid to turn the computer off to go home. So
Right.
I just thought I'll just let it run. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to grab a sign in case, so we can show it at the end in case anybody would like to order one.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Hey, Steph, how you doing?
Good, Zig. How are you? I like your picture. I was just looking at it. I'm like, that's a nice picture.
That was like that's really old. It's my old headshot. Yeah, I look quite a bit different right now. So
Have you had a haircut lately?
I haven't had a haircut since February, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Whoops.
You have to come on so we can see it.
I am, but I'm give me a second. I want to do my virtual background, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, we never got into that, Janie, huh?
Well, I tried it and then my head looked like an android.
Right. It's gonna be dumb, but I just wanted to mess around. I was messing around with it the other day, so I didn't mess around with this. It was on my iPad, not my laptop yet. So.
Now, Joanna told me that you can't have the light behind you, and because your head like goes like womp womp. Yeah. So, anyways, I was going to put our chamber logo up because I thought that would be kind of cool, you know. And yeah, I was going to put that up. And hi, Annette.
Hi, Annette.
And anyways, they kept going, whoo, yeah. So I'll have to try it with the, are you in, Annette?
Hi, Annette.
Yeah.
Hi. How was your Michigan trip?
Oh, it was so wonderful.
Oh, good. You got to go and see your grandkids and daughter?
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
Now, did they move? Hi, Marjorie.
They moved a little over a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so
they
my
moved.
2.5-hour ride is now almost 6 hours one way.
Oh my gosh. That's
hard.
a lot.
But I'm glad they moved to the Grand Rapids area. I'm glad they're not in the Detroit area because it's a mess there as far as the COVID.
Yeah. Oh, Jenny's there. Oh my gosh, look at Zig.
Oh, look at him.
Oh yeah.
I love the wave on the side.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying out for flock of seagulls, but
Oh
I
my
just shaved the
gosh.
beard. So you guys saw the beard last week, I think. But
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Zig, that was my first concert at Blossom.
that's funny.
15 years old, was In Excess and Flock of Seagulls.
Oh.
Aww.
Hey, Joanna and Jenny.
Marjorie?
Hello.
Hey, Jenny, that video you made for us is so fun.
So fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it.
We love it.
I'm glad everybody tapped in and used some kids. Kids are always a good, happy thing. Adults are too, but the kids were cracking me up.
Oh my gosh.
They were cute.
We're in between shows on WCTV.
Oh, good.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got my grandsons in there, the two little guys sitting on the porch, and Connor had just lost a tooth that day, his front tooth. So he said, Wadsworth.
Yeah.
Zig, I'm loving that hair.
Yeah. I might let it grow again at this point.
Why not? So Annette, what have you been doing?
Working.
Yeah, can you work from home for the most part?
I usually work from home a couple days a week, and the rest of the time I go in. I was home today.
Okay. Wear a mask.
Oh yeah, we all take turns.
Yeah. Oh boy. And Marjorie, you went gray.
I did. I always was. I just stopped coloring it over this, I was due for it to color it like the weekend that we were locked down. So it hadn't been colored in 3 months. So I had like 3 inches of gray. And then when I got my hair cut, almost all the brown was gone. So I decided to keep it and see what it looks like. And I'm very white on the sides, very shiny, silvery. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to leave it this way for probably a month or so and see how people respond and what I think. I think it ages me, but I think I don't mind not having to pay and deal with hair color either. So
Hey, I don't want to interrupt everyone, but I'm going to because that's what I do.
Okay.
So I just taught yoga online through Zoom through a different account. I tried to immediately switch to my account to do this, and my Zoom is not working. It's not letting me log in because I was under my boss's name that we have to do, and now my name has disappeared. So I'm going to try to troubleshoot. Just give me like 2 more minutes. I promise.
If you log out and then try logging back in.
I did try that, and it was not having it.
Okay, so just log out totally and then click the link that's on our website and see if that works.
I did it. And it
That didn't work either. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Then I'm done.
No, he's going to help me, but I'll be right on, I promise. Thank
Okay.
Oh,
Are we going to do yoga today?
I
can't get on my computer either.
We'll see what she has.
Okay.
What Natalie's always a surprise. Hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you for a long time.
No, it's so great to see you. I'm excited to see you. Now I'm going to butcher the title that you have with the chamber, but you have such a wonderful personality. Can't imagine anybody better to be in your position.
I like her. I like her. Yeah. Yeah, my title is Princess.
Not ruler of the world.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So what's everybody been doing today?
Working.
Working. Susan, what are you doing these days?
I'm working for Cornerstone Psychological Services as my primary position, but I'm also a personal trainer and group fitness instructor, and also doing Scout and Cellar wines and Juice Plus and Tower Gardens.
Wow.
Anything else you'd like me to get involved in?
Wow. The Wadsworth Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I mentioned to Ken Filbert that I knew you because I know he joined the Wadsworth Chamber.
Yeah, we did a nice ribbon cutting for him.
I haven't been there yet, but it looks so beautiful.
Yes, it's very nice. Yeah. You know what? We could go ahead and introduce ourselves while Natalie's getting set up. So how about we start in the corner, which is Stephanie.
Joey.
All right. Well, I think hopefully everyone knows me, but I'm Stephanie Zingaro, and I'm the Member Benefits Coordinator for the Wadsworth Chamber of Commerce. And I get to work with Jamie every day.
Of course, her shoulders twitch and her eyes go independent of each other about 2 o'clock. But other than that, she's
No.
fine.
We have a lot of fun.
So, we do. And I'm Janie Parrish with the Wadsworth Chamber.
I'm Joanna Perino with WCTV, and I'm having internet problems here, so I don't even know if you can hear me.
We can.
Okay,
We don't see things in the same order that you do. So
yeah.
we know who's supposed to go next, and that's why it's always awkward when you just kind of leave us to our own devices because we don't know who's supposed to go next.
Okay. Well, Marjorie, go ahead and go next. We're just
I am-
introducing ourselves. Okay, good.
I'm Marjorie Cook. I'm with Ideal Graphics, and I'm also on the board of directors for the chamber.
Okay. Annette?
I am Annette Walters with the Village of St. Edward, all 3 locations, and a proud member of the Wadsworth Chamber of Commerce Board.
Okay. So we talked to Susan already, and then so we're down to Jenny.
Okay,
Jet.
somebody wants to say hi first. You have a visitor.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, Jet.
Okay, go play. I'm Jenny. I own She Did a Videography. I think most of you guys know that. I'm also probably going to jump off this call early. We are running away from our homes tomorrow, and I booked an Airbnb at a cattle ranch in Burbank, Ohio. And so we're preparing for that. All the grandparents and Jet, my family, my sister and her new baby. We're just going to go hang out with some cows.
Nice.
Very
It canceled my Florida trip, so I have all these weird trips you guys are gonna see. You're gonna be like, what is she doing?
Oh.
I
Well,
like
and
the one in the truck trailer thing down in Southern Ohio. That was awesome.
Yes.
Yep.
I love-
Riverside Hideout. Riverside Hideout, if any of you want to go.
Jenny, I want to come with you.
Come on, we got room, it fits 8.
okay, and there's Zig in and out here. Yeah, he's zigzagging. Get it? Hee hee. Okay. And then our girl, Natalie. And we're so happy to have Natalie with us today, this afternoon. And she is a registered yoga teacher as well as a Reiki master. And so she's going to talk to us about how stress really is not so good and for any of us, and things you can do things you could do to help with stress reduction. So welcome and thank you, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me. I actually just taught a yin yoga class, which is why my Zoom was giving me a problem. And yoga is one of the things we're going to talk about today. So I will introduce myself, and I'm a college professor also, so I have notes. I'm nerdy that way. I have to go through my notes because I don't want to miss anything, and I have lots of good techniques and strategies for you guys, and I also have props to show you so that you can write anything down that you want, or you can contact Janie to get my info. You can contact me. I'm more than happy to help anyone out individually, come into your business and help you out. I just think that the frenetic pace of American life, even when we're working from home, is just so high and so intense that Americans don't really know how to relax. We have lost the ability to chill. And this time of forced quarantine has kind of given us an opportunity to re-examine how much we shove into one day and how our bodies are still in fight or flight when we go to bed at night. So we're not getting deep rest. We're not resting. And so that's what I want to do. So my quest to de-stress started at a very young age. I was always a pretty high-strung kid. I loved school. I cared about my grades. I wanted to know about the world. I was highly empathetic. So when anything sad happened in the world, it would take me days to recover because I would feel all that energy. And I thought, wow, I really need to learn how to transmute these feelings to be healthier, to have a better mind, body, spirit, holistic perspective about myself and what I can do to show up for the world in the best way possible. So in my early 40s, I was driving in the car and all of a sudden everything became dizzy and flushed. And I'm like, wow, I'm having a heart attack like my father did. Pulled over to the side of the road, called Zig and said, I can't breathe. I'm gonna put my head in between my legs and you need to come get me right now. And luckily we were both in Wadsworth. So I wasn't having a heart attack. My heart is in great shape and was then. I was having a panic attack from anxiety. I had my first one. I didn't know what it was. It was so freaky. You definitely feel like you're going to die and you're not, but I knew I have to find a way to manage my anxiety. So my doctor thought, okay, let's try out Lexapro. And I took it for 4 days and felt like I was crawling out of my skin. It wasn't for me. And whatever treatments are for anyone to relax and to de-stress, I recommend, you talk to your doctor, your therapist, your chiropractor, your friends, your intuition, all of it. So I'm not poo-pooing any one method. I just know that that particular method didn't work for me. So I had to find something that was not pharmaceutical, that would agree with my body. And I was already a lover of yoga. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to dive into this yoga thing more deeply. These many years later, I'm a certified yoga instructor. I'm also certified in yin and restorative yoga. I went through all my Reiki training, Reiki 1, 2, and Master to do that. I've learned a lot about myofascial release and the vagus nerve and activating that, taking adaptogens. Those are the things I'm going to talk to you about today. So in other words, I believe that the earth has provided us with a lot of things. Our human creativity has provided us with a lot of things that are ready and available. And for the most part, really, to be honest, free in order for us to de-stress and to feel better about ourselves. So let's talk about stress for a moment. Stress in the body is dis-ease. Western medicine talks about disease, but if you look on the Eastern traditions and Eastern contemplative practices, they separate the word dis-ease, right? So our body is naturally in a state of ease. That's how we should be. Disease is nothing other than our body vibrating at such a low level that dis-ease sets in. So what we want to do is we want our body to always be vibrating around 640 to 740 megahertz. Okay. The higher our vibration, the least possible it is for disease to set in, for our immune system to be weak, to be attacked by emotions and bacteria at the same time. Okay. So there's a vibrational scale, and I can share it with Janie and she can pass it on to you. The higher your vibration, the more that disease and illness cannot touch you. Once you start feeling so much chronic stress that your body's vibration is lower or lower, this is when we open ourselves up to colds or the flu, or chronic ailments. And then the lower our vibration goes, that's when we're susceptible to cancer and to serious illness. So we want to keep that vibe as high as possible. How do we do that? We do that by balancing the body and stimulating the vagus nerve and reducing our cortisol production. Okay, so let me talk to you about that for a moment. When we are constantly stressed, our adrenal glands send out just the stress-producing hormone cortisol like mad. How can you notice it? Well, I can notice it on myself because I put all my weight on in the middle, and when I'm stressed, my middle gets big in a week. I mean, you can see it, you can feel it. Cortisol is that your cells just feel like they're vibrating all the time, not in a good way, in a nerve inducing way, an anxiety inducing way. So the more we produce cortisol, the lower our vibe's going to be, because we don't want to stay in that fight or flight response that we had to survive thousands of years ago on a daily basis. Our bodies just can't sustain that. We live much longer now. And so think of all that chronic stress on the body every day. What we want to do instead is find natural ways to reduce our cortisol production so that we can increase our dopamine and our serotonin, right? Naturally. So we can get a dopamine hit when we buy something that we really love and we, throw caution to the wind about spending money on it. We can increase our dopamine and serotonin when we have sex, right? If it's consensual and pleasurable for both people, that produces a natural hit. When we exercise, when we stimulate that vagus nerve, these are all natural ways. But society has robbed us of the time to do most of those things enjoyably. So our dopamine and serotonin comes from pharmaceutical drugs, alcohol, shopping, binge watching Netflix, anything we can to turn off who we are and not go inside of ourselves and find our pleasure centers outside of ourselves. What true stress reduction is finding that pleasure center within ourselves, right? So the more that we increase our natural dopamine and serotonin, the more that we get this punch of oxytocin. That's the hormone that we want. We want to lower the cortisol and boost the oxytocin. The oxytocin is a hormone that gives us pleasure, lets us feel connected to one another, lets us be happy with how we feel and handle our emotions. Whatever those emotions are, even if they're anger or sadness, we're able to sit and notice them and then move forward. So let me talk about that vagus nerve just for a minute. So this book, Vagus Nerve, right? And the title of it is Stimulation, How to Stimulate Your Vagus Nerve with Relaxation Techniques, Mindfulness, and Meditation Exercises to Relieve Stress and Anxiety for a Healthy Mind-Body Connection. So the vagus nerve is really important, and it's just really like straight down here on the top of our heads, this vagus nerve. And we don't stimulate it enough. We don't stimulate it enough, partially because we're too busy and we don't know how to relax, and also because we're just not taught to do it. We're not taught to do that. I mean, unless you're really getting electrodes to stimulate the vagus nerve, most people don't take the time to go into rabbit pose in yoga. Well, you roll on top of your head so that you activate that, or take restorative postures where you're opening up your heart chakra and your heart center to receive the love of the universe in order to stimulate that vagus nerve. So there are a lot of things that we can do to stimulate that nerve to produce more oxytocin and lower our cortisol. So the first thing to relax that I'm going to recommend, obviously, is yoga. And the easiest way to define yoga is, the word yoga is to yoke together. So we're yoking together the mind, the body, and the spirit. The intention of yoga is to quiet the thoughts, because the thoughts are what lead to stress. And maybe not for any of you. Maybe you've all mastered that. I have not. I've been practicing yoga for a long time, and I can still lie in bed and have one thought that leads me down a rabbit hole to 25 other thoughts that I wish I could just turn off in my brain. So the yoga quiets the mind and brings us into this wholeness of ourselves. So there's a few types of yoga I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend restorative yoga. Restorative yoga, within an hour, you probably only change postures, and a posture in yoga is called an asana. You only change asanas 3 times, maybe 4. And the yoga instructor uses lots of props, pillows, straps, blocks, so that you are completely supported. So restorative yoga means your body should feel so supported, no tension anywhere, no strain, no stretching, almost as if you're floating, so that you can drop into that parasympathetic state. And you know it because when you adjust yourself in bed after you're not comfortable, and then you find the right spot, you're like, you almost let out a sigh, right? That's the parasympathetic state. That's what we want to achieve in restorative yoga. Gentle yoga is matching the movement with the breath. So breath in yoga, and we'll talk about this more in just a bit, is called pranayama. So pranayama, in the tree of yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, pranayama is life force energy. And that's really what our breath is, right? I mean, so it's chi in other places, ki in Reiki. So all the different holistic healing modality traditions have a word for that life force energy. So in yoga, it's pranayama, and it's our breath. How often when we're nervous do we find ourselves just holding our breath until someone says, hey, you need to take a deep breath, right? For those of you that have iPhones or and iWatches or Apple Watches or Fitbits or anything like that, there is an app on them called Breathe. And even though it's annoying, I challenge you to try it for one day. For one day, set the notifications to your Breathe app or any breathing app that you want to download. I like the one that's just called Breathe. That works beautiful. Calm works really well as well. They have a breathing app on theirs. And it will ding for you when you need to breathe in and breathe out slowly and deeply for 60 counts. And you would be amazed how annoyed you get on the first day, like, what, I have to deep breathe again? But you would also discover how our breathing is so shallow. And one of the things my friend, who is an epidemiologist, she's the head of vaccine research at the University of Pittsburgh. She and I went to Hiram College together. She said, one of the best things to protect yourself right now is really paying attention to your breath. Taking those deep breaths into your lungs, blowing them out through your mouth, inhaling through your nose, blowing them out through your mouth. And I have a breathing exercise we're going to do right at the end so that we're all zen by the time we leave tonight. So I'll get into that more. But gentle yoga combines that pranayama with the asana. So the breath and the movement together. Okay. And when you focus on one movement with one breath, another breath with an exhalation, and you do that sequence for 30 to 45 minutes, you can do even gentle yoga for 15 minutes and you'll reap the benefits. And then yin yoga is kind of a combination of gentle and restorative with its own twist. Yin is held postures for a long period of time, but you're stretching deeply. You're really getting into the muscles and breaking up the fascia. So I want to talk about that for one moment. One of the reasons that we can't relax is because we have this sticky fascia all over our bodies. So fascia is like this network of cells that connects joints and ligaments and bones and muscles all to each other. And in the morning, when you take a really big stretch, when you get up, stretch more. Stretch side to side, get up and spend like a good 5 to 10 minutes stretching. Because when we sleep at night, that fascia gets really sticky. And so our body doesn't feel good. The stress cortisol already starts to come up. And the more that we can break up all that fascia, the more our body is able to operate fully, the better we digest our food, the more water nourishes us when we drink it. So all of those things are important. I wanted to give you an app because right now, since this quarantine started, since COVID-19 started, Down Dog, which is a fantastic app because it's for all bodies, all bodies. They have gentle yoga, yin yoga, advanced yoga, power yoga, 15-minute sessions, 90-minute sessions. So it's just 2 words, Down Dog, which is a yoga asana, a posture in yoga. And you can download the app for free. Normally you would have to pay to get the full range of classes. Right now you can get any class that you want in the Down Dog app. There's also local studios that you can join, which might not be something that's desirable right now, but like in my studio, Roots, which is at the north end of Wadsworth, I just taught a Zoom class for Roots. So some of our classes have moved back to the studio. Some of them are still staying online. I also taught at the Y, which we're not starting group classes yet, but those hopefully, fingers crossed, can be back at some point. There's the new studio in yoga in Norton that my friend is opening called the Yoga Den. I'll be teaching there. She's offering all kinds of yoga for everyone, chair yoga and yoga for rehabilitation, trauma yoga for people who don't want to be touched, don't want hands-on assists, and have a hard time relaxing. So yoga really is for everyone, okay? So I was going to talk about Reiki next, but since we've already talked about the breath, I'm going to keep with that. So one of the things about the vagus nerve is not just the breath, and we're still going to do that breath exercise at the end, but stimulating it with sound. So another great way to relax is to download Insight Timer. I'm gonna say that at least 5 times during this happy hour because Insight Timer is one of the most important apps for me. And Zig and my daughter our eldest daughter really suffers pretty deeply from anxiety. And when I had her do meditations with me on the Insight Timer app, it made a world of difference. And she was able to sleep at night instead of feeling that anxiety. So Insight, one word, timer. Again, you can buy a higher level, but you don't need to. You download Insight Timer, and every night before you go to bed, you can pick beautiful sounds, singing bowls, chanting, the harp, all kinds of crystal bowls. The sounds of crystal bowls are beautiful. Nature sounds. All of this is stimulating that vagus nerve that we need for that oxytocin to be produced so that we can relax. Another great thing about taking a sound bath, right? Listening to music, chanting, nature sounds. It's great to have a sound bath in the morning. Like this morning, one of my bosses texted me really early, and she's like, "Oh, did I wake you up?" I said, "Are you kidding?" The male cardinal outside my open window started serenading me at the top of his lungs at 5:30 in the morning. But it was glorious because I was bathed in this bath of nature sounds, and I thought about how these birds are so amazing and miraculous and beautiful. And I could already start my body start to relax instead of worrying about checking my phone, checking social media, checking my emails, and starting my day that way. Why? Start my day with a sound bath of meditation with the birds. That's already going to put my vagus nerve in the right spot so that throughout the day I'm able to handle the stressors that come up. I'm sure my husband's laughing at everything that I'm saying right now because he also sees the non-relaxed, hyper-stressed side of Natalie as well, who's not giving this presentation. Okay, so another great thing to do for stimulating that nerve is sing, chant, hum throughout the day. You love singing? Sing out loud, sing all the time. Hum to yourself. This is great stimulation. If you're in the car, if you're in the shower, I mean, I don't care who hears me sing, so I realize that everyone might not share that view, but anytime you feel moved, you sing the music that you love because you're going to get that hit of dopamine and serotonin naturally because you're going to feel good and you're stimulating that vagus nerve. Okay.
Janie,
what else?
Can you mute whoever's on the iPad? Because can you mute whoever just came on iPad 2? It's okay. Thank you. Loud.
Thanks, Joanna. That helped me out too, because I didn't know. I didn't want to say. I didn't know who it was. I didn't want to say what was happening. Okay, singing, chanting, sound baths. All of this is fantastic. All of this can also accompany the next topic, which is a huge one, and that's meditation. So let me just say that you've probably heard people say, "I've tried to meditate. I can't do it. My thoughts won't turn off." There is no wrong way to do meditation. Insight Timer can absolutely help you meditate. You set the timer for whatever time you want. Start with 1 minute. Be comfortable. Be in a comfortable position with meditation is all I want to say. And you can do walking meditations and you can do force bathing meditations, and I'll get to that in a minute. But what's the power of meditation? Here's what it is. You force yourself to slow down and find that breath and try to quiet your mind. Thoughts are going to still come back to you. And Susan, I'm going to give you that title of that vagus nerve book as soon as we're done. I see your question there, and I'll totally share that with you. Thoughts are going to come up. The most skilled, oldest Hindu and Buddhist practitioners of meditation, of Zen meditation, of Tibetan meditation, of Iyengar's form of meditation, all the different types that are out there. They say that the most skilled practitioners can only really meditate for 10 minutes. So what does that mean? I mean, we see them sometimes sitting there for hours, meaning 10 minutes of pure quieting of the mind, of really being seamless and oneness in the present moment. That is so hard. The people that do it their whole lives can't do it. So what's the benefit of meditation then? It makes you slow down and practice. Meditation is about showing up for yourself every day. Don't think of it as, am I good at it, not good at it? Think of it as, can I show up for myself for 10 minutes every morning before I touch my phone? Sit in a comfortable position, turn on these sound crystal bowls, or sit in silence, or sit with the birds, and can I breathe and try to quiet my mind for 10 minutes? The benefits of meditation are endless because you train yourself to notice your thoughts and not judge them. Notice your thoughts and release them. So you don't feel guilty that you just had this thought. You don't feel angry that you just had this thought. It is what it is. This is the thought you had. You recognize it, you acknowledge it, and you release it without judgment. That's another thing our culture doesn't do well. Look at all of the self-help sections in every bookstore on the planet. I mean, we can't get enough self-help. We judge ourselves for everything. We can't release anything. Releasing it is what allows us to live in the present moment. And living in the present moment is what meditation is about. Some people are like, oh, I can't stand to meditate, it's boring. I used to think that. And I grew up as a woman, as a big theist, like ecumenical, studied all religions, loved God, read all of Buddha's teachings. At the same time, I was like, Jesus is the coolest dude ever. I mean, I was all into everything I could get my hands on about prayer and intentionality. So because my mind was always talking to God, or however you think of that, the universe, the divine, even nature, however you were talking to your inner self, or hearing an inner voice in your head, or hearing God speak back to you, or the universe give you messages. To me, it was always a dialogue. It was never silence. And meditation was about silence and quieting. So I couldn't do it at first. So what did I do? I did walking meditation. And that's the next thing I want to tell you. One of the best ways to de-stress is to get yourself in nature every single day. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if it's freezing. It doesn't matter if you do it for only 5 minutes. But being out in nature and what we call forest bathing, so healing modality practitioners, forest bathing is just walking in the woods. But not walking in the woods being distracted by everything. Forest bathing is you're walking, you're quiet, you probably don't even have headphones in, you're listening to the sounds around you, you're really enveloped in what's happening in the nature around you, especially if you are in like the woods or a path or the Cuyahoga Valley National Park System where the trees are towering above you and the green is surrounding you. You are breathing in all that oxygen and you are getting all that green, which is the heart chakra, into your heart space so that you can feel hopeful and loved and calm. Walking around your neighborhood every morning, that'll do it. So you can walk in silence and just notice what's around you, and that's meditation. And that's meditation. Okay. I'm sorry, I know I'm going like really through a lot of things here. I'll take a pause for a moment. Does anybody have any questions before I move to some of these other? Oh, one more thing I wanted to say before I open it up for a second. One of the best ways to get grounded if you're feeling anxiety or you're feeling depressed is when you are out in nature, do not wear shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have your bare feet connected to the earth. There is actual chemical and energetic transactions taking place between your feet and the ground. And why wouldn't there be? That's where minerals come from, crystals come from. That's where worms live, right? So much life is in the earth. And when we walk barefoot or we meditate on the ground with our body touching it, that's how we feel also when we're in the ocean, right? And when our feet are in the sand, we are getting just this wonderful energy, grounding energy, root chakra energy from the planet that comes through our feet, literally up into our bodies. So do that for sure. So, and Jenny, I know you needed to jump off.
I have to jump off. I have someone coming. I'm just echoing everything you're saying. You know that I'm a yogi. I also suffer from anxiety. I've had 3 anxiety attacks during this whole thing. 1 landed me in the ER. I try to do yoga every single day. There's an app called Move With. You can tell Alexa to do yoga. She'll teach you yoga. You can tell her to play great music. If you have a Fire Stick or a smart TV, you can also download or tell it to play you like really awesome music. I also listen to like the waves when I go to bed. And you talked about the YMCA. That is where I learned about yoga. It seems scary. What the hell is it? What are these people doing? They're going to judge me. Oh my God. You learn there that nobody cares about you and it's what's happening with you on your mat. So if it's in interest to you, if you suffer from anxiety or stress, If you're curious what me and Natalie are doing, I highly recommend go try it at the Y. I did it for a year. I became so proficient. I went to Roots. I learned even more there, and I do it at home on a daily basis because sadly I don't have time to get there anymore. That's all I got. Mad love. Keep
Have
doing
a
yoga.
grad love. Have a wonderful trip, Jen. Have a
Thanks.
wonderful
Bye,
trip.
guys.
Bye.
Hi, I'm loving your presentation, and I actually take Iyengar yoga from Karen Allgaier up at Green Terra Yoga.
Oh, yes.
Do you know of her? But at any rate, last night she mentioned that we can kind of shut down the thoughts a little bit by relaxing our tongue and our lips. And there's something about the connection between relaxing that part that does speech that stops some of the words.
You're so right, Susan. At the end of all of my yoga classes during Shavasana, so that's like the last asana, Shavasana, right? It's the last posture that you're in, and you're just really lying supine on the ground and relaxing. I remind all of my students, I say, now, if you're holding your tongue at the roof of your mouth, drop it, right? Drop the tongue from the roof of your mouth. There's nothing to be latching onto. There's nothing to be clenching. Let your jaw relax. Let your eyelids relax. And the more that you force your face to relax, the more that you really feel in your body. So Susan's absolutely right. And by that same token and extending that, I talked about the sticky fascia, breaking that up. Susan's saying relax the jaw and the mouth. Absolutely. And also myofascial release. Myofascial release is really important. So that fascia I talked about and the tension. So I have Alter Care of Wadsworth here, this little ball, right? So this is a stress ball, but I want you to pretend this is a tennis ball. So if you have, like I have an injury from a car accident, so my right scapula always gives me a problem, even when I'm doing yoga. But I'm a teacher, so I have to keep going. So I take that tennis ball underneath my scapula and I lay on the ground and I roll around on it. So if you take a tennis ball and you roll your feet around, you're activating all those meridians in your feet, right? People that do acupuncture and reflexology know all about meridians. So you're moving that all around and you're awakening the meridians to release a lot of things in your body. You can do that on your shoulders. You can do that in your back. You can do it with one of those foam rollers that are really cheap. I mean, you can pick them up anywhere, Target, Walmart, Amazon, for just a handful of dollars. And they're really worth it because when you roll your back out or you roll certain muscle groups out, you can release stuck fascia that also holds stuck emotions. So like we hold tension in our body. That's where the dis-ease comes from, right? Why in America is stress the #1 killer? Yes, other things contribute to the ultimate demise of those of us who get diseases because of stress. So maybe it's blamed on diabetes, or maybe it's blamed on, heart disease or whatnot. But most of those conditions also come from stress. And when we stress, our habits are worse, not better. And I definitely know that's true for me. And Zig would absolutely attest to it, although I hope he doesn't do that right now. But we definitely have the ability to relax ourselves more than we can. So I know I've been talking for a long time. I'm going to give you a few more things to do, a few things not to do, and then I'm just going to wrap it up with Reiki, because I just want you to know what Reiki is and to really have you hopefully open your mind to Reiki, because the movement of energy in Reiki is so wonderful, and it really provides deep, deep healing and deep relaxation. So I want to close with the Reiki and then our breathing. So what else can you do to relax? Baths with no chemicals. Right? So like we like to do bubble baths, so it's so fun, but those chemicals are getting into your skin, into your body. They're not essential oils, which are pure and natural. They're doing things that to you that might relax you in the moment, but are irritating you, because our skin is what? Our largest organ. There's no organ bigger than the skin. So whatever we put on the skin or into the skin is going to affect everything else within us. So take a bath with Epsom salts. That helps relax the body. Buy a CBD bath bomb, right? Totally legal. No THC, just the good stuff. And let your body relax and let that seep into your muscles and your skin. Those are better alternatives than the fancy bubble baths that have the chemical component come with it. Okay, adaptogen teas. I want to talk about that for a minute. So chamomile is a wonderful tea to drink before bed. You probably all know that. But if you don't, I highly recommend it because almost every night of my life, I end with chamomile tea. Even after I went out and had wine, I end with chamomile tea because it helps you calm. And I'm going to talk about that wine that I just mentioned in a second. So I want to show you this. They're called Super Adapt Tea. Okay. And what you're going to see here is a word called adaptogenic herbs. Adaptogenic herbs. So, nootropics and adaptogens have been around and used in Eastern culture for, again, centuries. But they've only recently started to take off in the Western world. And adaptogens are special properties of things like reishi mushrooms, which are known to help fight cancer, right? Tulsi, rhodiola, different kinds of herbs and flowers that have adaptogenic properties. What an adaptogen means is quite literally is that it adapts to the stress cells in your body in order to alter them and calm them down, right? So like when you have a cold, if you drink copious amounts of vitamin C, you limit your cold by days because that vitamin C is attaching itself to your body's areas of weakness. That's what adaptogens do. Okay, so this is made by the Republic of Tea. I'm sure you guys have seen that. All stores carry the Republic of Tea, but they have a special Super Adapt Tea, and I have 3 different formulas of this, all with different adaptogens. They're also very nice to have at the end of the day as something different instead of chamomile tea. That really slows you down. Okay, so before I get to Reiki, I just want to say a few things about, and reading for pleasure. How could I forget that? Read for pleasure, not your phone, not Facebook, not all the stuff on Twitter that I read and then I'm in tears 20 minutes later because I've read these people's stories that I can't help and I don't know. And as an intuitive empath, now I've taken that on. Don't read that before you go to bed. Before you go to bed, read for pleasure. Read something that makes you feel good about the world. Fiction, nonfiction, something that intrigues you. We've really got out of that reading, and probably none of us on this call have, but I know the younger generations have gotten out of reading physical books. Everything is on their technology. So they're constantly getting that light emission, right? That ENT, that I can't think of the word it stands for, but you know what I mean. All of those electromagnetic waves that are going into the brain. You can see here that I have this little thing on the back of my phone. You can order that on Amazon. That stops all of that blue light radiation. Doesn't stop it entirely, but it way reduces it. Put them on your TVs, put them on your computers, put them on all your devices, because that blue light amping up the cortisol and robbing you of the oxytocin. So when you're trying to relax, here are my don'ts. No news. No super heavy movies or TV shows, no technology at least 30 minutes before bed, and definitely no blue lights that are still on. Like if your technology is in your room and that computer blue light is buzzing at you all night, whether you think you're getting that deep sleep, you're not, because your body can't do that in competition with the electromagnetic waves. Alcohol is a sleep disruptor. So actually, happy hour, which this is called, is perfect. I brought a little bit of wine to this happy hour to demonstrate that this is the perfect time to have a cocktail. Truly, that's why they call it happy hour. And years, like decades ago in America, they knew this, and that's why they created happy hour, because then your body, you relax, you feel light, you have some food, maybe you go for a walk afterwards, then your body starts to settle in. Now you have that chamomile tea or adaptogens or water to cool you down. If you drink right before bed, you're going to be sleepy. You're going to fall asleep. But then at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., or 4 a.m., you're going to get it kicked back up, because alcohol is a depressant that depresses your system for only so long. And then that dopamine hit is depleted and your body is alert and awake. So avoid alcohol right before bed, have it hours before in order to have true deep rest. So the ironic perfection of happy hour is that part of our relaxation, right? And also avoid heavy workouts before bed. Not a good thing. You want the heart rate to always come down 2 hours before you sleep, not up. So for those of you that feel like it's hard to go to sleep, I want to give you one technique. Then we're going to talk about Reiki for 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe, and then we're going to do our breathing exercises, and I promise to be done. I'm a professor. It's hard for me. I could talk for 2 hours, so you guys have to cut me off. Always feel free to cut me off. I know Zig's laughing at that too, because he tries, and I don't listen when he tries to cut me off. Okay, so one of the important things about this vagus nerve, right, is that we need to activate it so that everything else in our body works well. Our blood pressure, our heart, nervous system, circulatory system, digestive system, all of that is connected. All of that is related to how our brain sends out responses, that vagus nerve in particular, right? So it's very important to keep up with that. Again, mind, body, spirit, health, that connection of being connected all together. But also on the physical side, we need to keep that heart rate down. You want it to go up when you're exercising. You don't want it up all day. That's the fight or flight response. That's that production of cortisol. That is the anti-relaxation. So if you are ever stuck and you literally can't go to sleep, I want you to get out of your bed and scoot your bottom all the way up against your wall, like your bottom flush against the sideboard on your wall. Or why am I not thinking of the right name? You know what I'm talking about. Not crown molding, but bottom molding, right?
Baseboard.
Baseboard. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. The baseboard against your wall. And then I want you to turn yourself sideways once you have it up there and put your legs directly up the wall and flex your feet. You want your legs higher than your heart. You want to reverse your circulation and the normal flow of your nervous system and the blood path that it normally follows. And that is going to help you lower that heart rate. What you could do while you're doing that is the breathing technique we're going to close with, the either 4-5-7 or the 5-7-11. Both of those would work, and I'll show you that at the end. So that's just a tip to use in any time that you feel like you're having that anxiety attack. And I'll text that to Jenny since she's already off the call, because I forgot to tell her that. That is really helpful when you're, Zig has seen me do it many times. Like, oh, I feel anxiety attacks coming on. I'm going to do legs up the wall. I'm going to do this breathing because I don't want to have to take any meds. If I did have to, I would. But if I don't have to, I'm going to try all these other techniques first, right? So the last thing is Reiki. And a simple definition of Reiki is that it's a healing technique based on the principle that the universe supplies us with all the energy we need to heal ourselves. And once you get attuned to that energy, once you learn how to focus and you receive those attunements from a Reiki master, you can then pass on through touch or distant. I've done distant Reiki on people as well. So in person or distant, but it means that you're activating the natural healing process of someone's body. And why would you want to do that? Because it raises the vibration. So taking us right back to the beginning, what we talked about. We want that body vibrating 700, maybe even 800 megahertz, as high as we can get. Okay. The higher the vibration, the more the impossibility for dis-ease to reside in the body. So Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction, relaxation, and it promotes healing. What does it mean? Reiki is made up of two words, Rei, which means God's wisdom or higher power or universal consciousness, right? And Ki is life force energy. So Reiki is actually spiritually guided life force energy. And what I love in my study of all these things and becoming a Reiki master and watching the transformation, Janie knows this well, and so does Zig. I had a lot of friends in my church recently and who have been friends in my life for a long time. Just recently get breast cancer in their 40s, a lot of them. And all 3 women reached out to me and said, will you give me Reiki? And I said, absolutely. And I could see the relaxation of the worry in their minds that was stopping them from allowing the full healing to happen. In other words, they felt so good afterwards from that energy flowing through their body that they could relax more about their upcoming surgery or about their healing or about the treatment that they needed. And that's really what Reiki is about. And what's beautiful about it is it's no different than any other faith tradition. It's no different than prayer. It's no different than walking meditation. It's no different than singing hymns with people that you love. It's all the transference of energy. All of these things are using what God wants us to use, using the universe and nature and what it's given us in abundance so that we can use those tools to relax, to heal ourselves, to lower that cortisol, to up that oxytocin, to stimulate that vagus nerve so that our lives are more full, whole, complete, and calm. And in America, we need that, wow, probably more than anywhere else. Even though we have so much abundance here, the way that we structure our lives does not lead to relaxation. It leads to stress. So we need to unlearn a lot of what we've learned. We need to unlearn definitions of productivity and success. And really, the corporations and the small businesses that I've worked with or that I've seen be very successful take this relaxation and stress reduction very seriously. And because they have such high input from their employees. They have such great productivity, if you want to use that word, because the people are coming from a place of wellness and they're operating from a place of wholeness, of being seen and knowing that the wholeness of life, the holisticness of life is important to everyone in that space, in that corporation, in that school, in that family, in that culture, wherever it is. So I wish you all to have a really relaxing evening. I'm going to show you my vagus nerve book again because I know a few people asked for that. Okay, so it's called Vagus Nerve Stimulation, and the author is Judy Care. Judy A. Care. Vagus nerve. And again, if you or the business that you work for want more information, want me to lead a yoga session, I do private Reiki sessions, distant. I can do them distant. I can do them in my house. I have my own Reiki table. Any of these things that you want more information, I can give it to you. You can hire me out for bigger events. You can use me in whatever, any way that you need to. I'm here to serve. So, and thank you so much, Janie, for inviting me to do this. You can unmute everyone. I'm done. I've kept you, I've been speaking long enough. You all ask questions or tell me your thoughts or anything that you want.
Well, Natalie, tell us our breathing.
Oh, yes, you didn't do the breathing. Okay. So I'm going to give you, and I want you to write down these numbers because they're going to help you practice. So yogic breathing, one of the main breaths in yogic breathing when you start or end a practice is called 4-7-8 breath. 4-7-8 breath. That's the one we're going to do, but I want you to write the next one down. For anxiety, if you get treated for anxiety or if you know you have it, you haven't been diagnosed, but you know you have it. Anxiety breathing is 5-7-11, and I'll explain the difference in a minute, but the technique is the same. So we're going to do the shorter one. The technique is the same. The anxiety breathing has a different number because you are trying to lower your heart rate as quickly as possible to stave off the panic attack, to stave off. So if you do this breathing, your breath, your lungs, your heart can't do anything else but what you're doing. The brain cannot trick you out of it when you focus on the 5-7 breathing pattern. I did not believe that was true until I was driving in a car, and I hated driving after I had my first anxiety attack. But shortly after I had it, when I thought I had it under control, I knew that it was happening in the car. My feet were getting sweaty. I knew it. And I'm like, okay, I got to do 5-7-11. and I literally counted it in my mind. And within 5 minutes of breathing that way, I was completely fine. And then I read the science behind why that happens. And also my doctor talked to me about it, the way that it changes the oxygen to your brain in such a way that it stops your heart from being able to race faster than it's going. So that's the same premise behind the yogic breathing. But the yogic breathing we do, again, to lower our heart rate, and also just to come into our wholeness. So 4-7-8 breathing means that you breathe in through your nostrils only, not your mouth, for the count of 4 counts. Once you get that breath in, once you get that oxygen in, you hold that breath for 7 counts. And then when you extinguish the breath, you do not blow it out the nose. You open your mouth and you make it audible, or you at least push it out. Even if it feels awkward to you to make a sound, you push it out for the count of 8. Okay? So it might look like this. I'll do it and then I'm going to count it for you guys to do it together because I can't count and do it with you. So I would breathe in for 4 seconds. I'm going to hold it for 7. And then I'm going to let it go for 8. That's what you'll find the hardest. Most of us do quick exhalations, and you want to get all that stale toxicity out of your lungs and out of your gut, right? We talk about this gut health. You need to release all that, but it is hard to slow your roll enough to exhale for 8 counts and especially for 11 counts. But it's so worth it. So I'm going to count you guys up and hold and down if you're ready. All right. So in through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slow 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. And remember, the in breath is through the nose, lips are sealed. Out breath always through the mouth, not through the nose. That's what's going to change the heart rate, that pattern. So good question, Janie. Thank you for reminding me of that because I would have forgot.
Natalie, you are amazing. You gave us lots to think about in a short amount of time. That's for sure. Yeah. Annette wants to know if there's a way to measure your vibrations.
So that's a great question. And my Reiki master always gets that question. You can feel it in your body, but the best way I would be able to do it, and I'm just writing down here, Annette, I'm writing your email down that you sent to me, okay? Awesome. There is not in Eastern culture, there is some device that they use to measure, but scientifically, even though physicists have acknowledged this, they've acknowledged this vibration, they don't have a tool and instrument yet that can measure it accurately, but they're working on it. And I'm sure, I mean, look at the exponential growth of technology in today's world, right? I'm sure that they will be able to find it. Oh, Susan, you're also a Reiki master. I absolutely love that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So what I would do is before I performed a Reiki treatment, I would test your chakras with my rose quartz pendulum. And if the pendulum swings clockwise, your chakra's open, right? So there's lots of meridians on the body, right? And there's chakra centers on the body. You might have heard of them. Red, root chakra, in between your legs. Orange, sacral chakra, right below the belly button. And in the middle of your abdomen, solar plexus chakra, that's yellow. Heart chakra, green. Throat chakra, blue. Third eye chakra, your wisdom and intuition, that's indigo. and then either white or light purple. It's described in both ways. Crown chakra that connects you to everything, right? We're all one, connects you to the universe. So I would test your chakras, and depending on the number of chakras you had closed, I would know how much Reiki I would try to direct the Reiki energy to opening those chakras. And also that would probably give me an indication of how low or high your vibration was. But actually you're the best indicator, Annette, of how low, because you could say how you feel before and how you feel after with any treatment, a private, a massage, private yoga lesson, a Reiki treatment. You can feel the shift in energy in your body. But a great way to tell if your energy, if you're vibrating low, is if you start to feel run down, if immediately you start to take these steps to relax and restore and raise your vibration, drinking herbal teas, meditating, getting a Reiki treatment, forest bathing, restorative yoga, if you do any deep sleep, right? Sleeping for 2 days if you need to. If you do all of these strategies, you can feel your vibration shift. If you ignore it, your vibration will continue to get lower and lower. And that's when we get sick. It's interesting because my birthday is on May 7th, and that always coincides with the end of school and finals week. And I'm a Taurus, and I'm ruled by my throat. So I lose my voice almost at the end of every single semester. And I know it's directly related to this. I mean, I've been teaching for 25 years. I know the pattern. I feel overwhelmed. I feel too much. I don't take the time to relax. I let the stress build up, and then my vibration is lower and I'm susceptible to those throat issues. So the best indicator is you, but also there are kind of tools to measure that, mostly by filling out, what are you doing in your life? What are you not doing? Here are the things that raise your vibration. Here are the things that lower it. And I could give you one of those forms, and you could compare and see, where am I on this? And you get a pretty good indicator of where your vibration is. Yeah.
And Natalie, tell
Yes.
us the author of the vagus nerve stimulation.
Judy, Judy,
Okay.
A period, that must be her middle name or her maiden name, Care, Care, Judy A. Care.
Okay. Natalie, I have so enjoyed this because everything that you talked about, it's like, yeah, I leave the TV on all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no wonder I'm pooped. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really. Well, the iPad, same thing. But yeah, that just makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so thank
Yeah.
you.
It does.
Does anybody else have any questions? Natalie, thank you. You're amazing.
You are welcome. I'm trying to answer questions here. And Susan, sorry, I tried to tell Annette that you're welcome because she typed thank you, but I sent it to you. I can do Zoom really well, but the Zoom chat, it throws me off because it's like, are you sending this privately? Are you sending it to the group? But you know what? I don't care because I'm not stressed. I feel relaxed. Yeah, hang out with you guys. And a lot of that mindset is how you have to go about your whole day, even when you're at work. Like, think about the vastness of the universe, and this one thing went wrong, and you know what? Who cares? It's not going to be a deal breaker. Get back to that calm center however you need to. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Reach out to Janie, get my contact info, anything you want. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
That was very interesting.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
See you later.
Bye.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Krista, you need all of this.
I know, no kidding. I certainly do.
Yep, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's great.
No, here, look, I put that out as a joke at a meeting earlier today, and then I couldn't figure out how to get it off. And I'd already clicked like join without video. I'm like, okay, because it came on earlier and I didn't know how to undo it. I'm like, I don't have time now, but I really wanted to join today because I was interested in what the speaker had to say. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I need
would-
this little background thing, right?
I would love to take yoga. I think I'm going to look into that.
You know what? We do yoga here at the health department. Well, not now, but
Yeah.
I had brought in, oh gosh, I should know the name of the yoga studio up here. And she would come in and do 6 weeks at a time. And it was free for staff. And people who were like, I can't do yoga, they would actually be able to come in and do it. And it was nice. It was very relaxing. And you realize I could do this all the time. I have a yoga mat at home. I could totally do this. I thought it was cool. I didn't know who the gal was who said it, but she's like, you can ask Alexa to do yoga and she can lead you through yoga. That's funny. Rich just got one of those. I'm not sure if you were on when she said it or not.
Yeah,
So-
no. But I have my own yoga mat, just it's
See?
rolled up on a shelf.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So one of the gals who was on who had to get off, she said, yeah, that you can say, Alexa, let's do yoga. And Alexa will lead you through poses and stuff.
Oh my
Funny.
gosh. Well, we'll have to do that. How are you holding up?
Yeah. It's like every day they do a press conference, you learn a little bit more about what more is going to be put on your plate as a health department.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they gave recommendations. They put out the guidance for fairs today, which is good, except they didn't give them any of the rest of the stuff. They didn't say anything about rides. They didn't say anything about large venues. They didn't tell them about horse racing. And so it's like, okay, so now all these 4-H folks here, oh, great, you can have your fair as long as you follow the guidelines. And these poor fair boards are sitting here saying, I don't know if I can financially do that. I don't know about the other pieces,
Yeah.
So I know.
Crazy
I know,
time.
and that's not how we thought it was. We thought it was all going to come out as a in total package from all the venues. We thought that's why they were holding on to it for so long, because our group did their work. And we're like, oh, they're probably trying to organize it so when it comes out, fair boards can see all the different parameters and figure out how or if they can do it. But that's not how it came out. So
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
boy. Tough
There's
time.
another order tomorrow and we don't know what it's going to say. So
Oh man.
I don't know.
Well, thank you for all you do.
Yeah, sure
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And tell Rich I said hi. David went out and put up the signs. He said, I cannot ask Krista.
I saw the flags. Rich was willing to go out. Rich said he was willing to go out and do it. I'm like, I don't know. David said he was going to take care of it this time, so we'll have to trade off with that.
Let him do it.
Rich and I took the last set down, and it was actually really nice, just to kind of do something that wasn't COVID.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Hey,
well,
I have to go get dinner or lunch.
Okay.
It's actually lunch.
There you
Because I have a 7:00 meeting. So it was
Okay.
nice to see you there, Jamie.
Oh, you too.
All right.
Thanks
Take
so
care, hon.
much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let's